a man who's in on the show right now. He covers the Raiders for The Athletic. He goes by the name of Vic Tafur, and he joins us on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Vic, you mess with Gator ever? You ever eat Gator?
I have. I had some Gator, and I think I was in Jacksonville. I had some Gator. I think I had some frog balls. I had the whole deal. It was a little tough to chew, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's gamey, too.
Why Vic is the best Raider guy right there. Shouts out to Vic.
That's it right there. Hey, Vic, let's get into some actual football and Raiders talks. Did you think it was even a remote possibility that Josh Jacobs was getting a deal today, or was this headed to the franchise tag all along?
Yeah, I thought there was a tiny chance. I think I made some calls last week. I think this is probably where it was going to go, but I think both sides realized they may have to wiggle a little bit because I think Josh Jacobs realized he's kind of in a bad spot. All running backs are in a tough spot. You really can't. There's no leverage. You can't. The market is kind of set against them. And the Raiders realized they don't want a guy coming in after camp is unhappy. They kind of want to make sure that he's okay when he comes back. At some point, maybe they give him more than the franchise tag, but not equal to what you want. So I think there was a small bit of maybe each side could come down and meet in the middle, but clearly that was not the case.
Vic and I've said this a couple times, we know business is business. And I think Josh Jacobs is intelligent enough, and I've heard him say that, and I'm pretty sure you could back that up, that business is business. But there's always personal feeling. There's always emotion in this. Do you know if there is any bad blood on Josh Jacobs' side?
He's not happy. I definitely safely say that. I think last year came in, they didn't pick up his fifth-year option, which was their mistake. The Raiders could have paid him $8 million for this year, and the whole thing will be not even an issue right now. But they chose not to, so it kind of was a prove-it year for Josh. And he led the league in rushing. He was the best player. He played hurt. He played despite all the other things he had going on the team, and again led the league in rushing. So I think in his mind, he proved it. He proved what he had to prove to get a long-term deal. 25 years old. Not a lot of mileage on him. So I think he thought he was in a good spot to get rewarded with a nice payday. And again, 1 year for $10.1 million is not bad, but it's not really what you wanted or not what really he kind of deserves.
How far do you think this goes? How far do you think Josh Jacobs is willing to take this holdout?
Well, I think he and Saquon Barkley are in kind of the same boat. I think I'm sure they're mad. Other running backs are going to have their back and saying how outrageous it is. They're two of the best guys in the league, yada, yada, yada. But at some point, $10.1 million is $10.1 million. It's hard to say no to that. Come close to week one of the season, I think it's going to be hard to hold out past that and give up the money that you've earned. So I think at some point he'll come back, and ideally they can be okay in terms of friendly terms and play the season.
Joined by Vic Tafur of The Athletic, for my money, one of the stalwarts of the NFL. Of course, you know him by following the Raiders, of course. Been there, done it many moons. Vic, when it comes to switching the gear a little bit on the Josh Jacobs situation, as you talked about, Josh led the league in rushing last year, had 12 touchdowns, and for my money, he is the focal point of the offense. Well, you got Jimmy G coming in this year. I would imagine you need Josh Jacobs to be that same thing for Jimmy G. What are the Raiders looking at? How do they see Jimmy G, I guess, figuring into this offense?
Yeah, I think he'll be a good fit. I mean, probably a better fit than Derek Carr was, just because he knows Josh McDaniels pretty well. He knows the system, knows what they want each and every read and all the adjustments they can make during the game. So I think it'll be kind of a seamless transition for him. Clearly, he has to be able to play. I mean, he has that foot surgery, so we'll see if he passes physical in time for camp next Tuesday. Yeah, I think they have high hopes. I think they think with Devontae Adams and they got Jacoby Myers, another former Patriot, so they got some guys in place where you can definitely have a big time passing game.
The other team that we have an eye on that we talk about here on the station, Vic, is the 49ers. And it seems like ever since Brock Purdy got hurt last year, we keep hearing he's on schedule. We get updates on his recovery and everything else. Since the news came out that Jimmy G had to have foot surgery this offseason, I don't know that we've gotten any updates other than them saying they expect him to be ready. Do we know where Jimmy G is at in terms of his progress and his recovery?
We don't. The only thing we do know for sure is that there's a little bit of concern because the Raiders reworked his deal. So if he's not ready to go in time for the season, they can get away from his contract without paying him. They can get away from all the guaranteed money, which they don't want to do, but they give themselves an out in case this doesn't get better. But again, from what I hear, he should be ready. If not, at the very start of camp, I'd imagine pretty close to it. So at this point, there's no real panic. But then the Raiders, you never really know.
Typical Raider way. 7 days away from camp for the Raiders. The 6, right? 6 or 7. I can't remember.
They get like player availabilities on Tuesday, and the first actual practice is Wednesday morning.
Got you. Oh, so we kicking in high gear. With that being said, Vic, who are some of the people that you have your eye on coming into this camp this season? I mean, what's the number one battle for you heading in for the Raiders this year?
Well, I think they got so many question marks in defense as always. So they're counting on the guys like Divine Diablo, a linebacker. He's gotten bigger and he's got more experience. So they need him to be a big-time playmaker because there's not much else there. They lost Denzel Perriman to free agency. He was a Pro Bowler, really their first really good linebacker in 20 years. So that's a big loss. They hope Divine Diablo can kind of fill that gap. And then the secondary is a big question mark, and they brought Marcus Epps from the Eagles. They hope he can kind of step up and be more than just a run stopper. So, they got, besides Max Crosby and Chandler Jones up front, a lot of question marks behind them on defense.
Big picture question. What is this season all about? Because last year they go out and they get Devontae Adams, and it felt very much like a win now move and win now season. And very quickly they seem to have pivoted away from that. And that doesn't seem to necessarily be the number one objective.
Yeah, they're definitely in a weird spot. Like you said, they got Devontae Adams, big trade, give up a couple of high draft picks to get him. They were talking about making a move and making the playoffs and yada, yada, yada. It didn't work out that way. So now you can't really say, wait, we're going to rebuild because you still got Devontae Adams, you still got Max Crosby making a lot of money. So you kind of got to do it kind of halfway where you can have a chance to maybe contend with Jimmy G, and that works out great. If not, the key thing for us is the young guys we drafted. Let's build like a solid foundation, kind of get this in the right direction in terms of having homegrown talent. So they are kind of in a weird no man's land.
Vic, man, I've always wanted to ask you this. I'm transitioning, man. Every time we have you on, we talk about the Raiders, but I always see in your Twitter bio, you talk about you walk the earth, meet the people, get into adventures like Kang and Kung Fu. Are you a Kung Fu movie guy, man? Are you into that?
Yeah, big time.
That's what I'm talking about. See, I knew I like Vic for a reason, man. What
movies, Kung Fu movies, and then I've seen all of them. So definitely, I love that line.
What's your go-to, brother? Give me 3 of the ones you just can't leave. 18 Bronzeman, Charlotte. Where are you going with it?
Well, I put him in the spot. It's been a while, man.
Oh, okay. That's okay. We got time. We can talk about the Raiders. You could jot the list down while we talk about the Raiders.
I feel like the IP Man movies are great.
Oh,
what's the one with the guy has to go into the I can't think of it now. They go into a building. It's like a fortress. The Raid. It's like
the Raid. Oh yeah, the Raid was good. Raid 1 and 2.
Great things about that.
Raid 1 and 2 was dope, man. Yeah,
I watch those all the time, so I kind of watch movies over and over again. So
that's right.
I do enjoy the new stuff. Like the new John Wick stuff is kind of an homage to that stuff.
Oh, I love Part 4, man. Oh, Part 4 was crazy. What'd you think about Part 4?
Yeah, it was good. I thought it took a step back. Like I wasn't crazy about 2 or 3, but I liked Part 4 a lot.
Okay, so 1 is the best, isn't it? I think that's where you're going.
I think so, just because of the whole novelty of it. Because once you get past the first one, it's kind of like a little bit the same thing over and over again. But the first one was kind of a different kind of role for Keanu Reeves. So I kind of like that.
Yeah, I need to check out the 4. I haven't seen the 4th one yet. And the Raid, I hear.
The Raid 1 and 2 were crazy.
The best action sequences and fight scenes in the history of movie making. I've heard multiple people say that. So got to check it out.
Man, too.
That's Vic Tafur. He covers the Raiders and he loves Kung Fu movies.
Right, Vic.
He's been our guest for the last few minutes. Check his work out at The Athletic and follow him on Twitter at Vic, VIC, Tafur, Tafur. Appreciate the time, Vic. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, guys. Take care.
And he joins us on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
That's what I'm talking